Excessive reading damages eyes. That is the lesson today.
I like that.
That
lesson.
is what we will share on the podcast.
Is that the end of the podcast?
Yeah, that's it. That's the
great.
lesson.
Glad I travelled to Australia for this. It's
yep.
great.
Wonderful. Good boy, Ali.
Hopefully people understand my accent, but
If they can understand Grant, they can understand you, I think.
Yeah, I won't put an accent on because it'll be bad.
All right, well, hello everyone and welcome back to Intellectual Potluck. If you haven't joined us before, I'm Sam. That's Arlo. If anyone missed our Nickelback episode.
No.
He's going to be being a nuisance.
No. We'll start again. Or is this going in the actual podcast?
None of that happened. That's fine. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Intellectual Potluck. If you haven't joined us before, I am your host, Sam, and I am joined today by my brother-in-law, James.
Hi, nice to meet you all.
So today, we're deviating a little bit. We've been doing a lot of unpopular opinions, and today I feel like it's not actually an unpopular opinion, it's just
I'd
great.
agree with that.
Yeah. So we're talking about it being okay to enjoy the things that you loved from childhood. So I feel like I anticipated that I would grow out of a lot of things.
Yeah, I'd agree with that quite a bit with that. I mean, I think it's a lot more accepting now than it's ever been to kind of be geeky and enjoy that. But like, I'm from the 90s. I know I don't look it. But it's sort of having this perception when you're in the 90s, you kind of don't want to be too geeky, you don't want to fall out, you don't want to be like the outcast, and now there's very much a switch back to just embrace that, which I think is quite good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that that's like grown up with us. Like our generation is the one that has had this shift, so now we can keep enjoying all the fun things that we loved when we were kids.
I mean, we're clearly sponsored by Legend of Zelda and Pokemon at the moment, so we're doing all right.
Yes. I'll put a photo up on the Instagram of how the Pokemon collection did look before Arlo got to it. Yep. We've had to remove some because
he keeps trying to eat them.
Yeah, he keeps thinking they're for him. Arlo likes nerd culture too, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we should get him a hat or something, or a jacket, but...
Yeah, so we bribed him with a treat that's already almost over, so hopefully he just falls asleep. But if we keep cutting out, it's probably him.
We'll have so many outtakes. That's what I want.
Yeah, we'll do a blooper reel for this episode probably. So I thought we'd start off by just looking at how nerd culture, for lack of a better term, has developed. Because like we say, back in the day, I think my parents would be very much like, oh, play video games because you're a kid, Yeah. Maybe they're just playing away, but anticipating by the time I'm in my 20s, I like more adult things and more
I'd get that. I mean,
sensible things.
What was your first exposure to games and anime and stuff like that? I'm assuming I can guess what it is, but
PlayStation 1 would be the start for me that I remember. Spyro, probably on the PlayStation 1. That's some of my earliest memories.
He's off.
Okay, he's going that way. We're fine. Yeah. Game Boy, Pokemon.
Yeah, I'd agree
classics. With that. I had Pokemon Yellow, so
best one. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that what you had as well?
Yeah, until my brother traded my Pikachu over to Red and evolved it. Not a good day. I was very annoyed at him for that.
Oh my God, he survived that.
Yeah, I was too young. I was the youngest. I'm youngest of 3, so it doesn't help.
Which one was it?
Chris.
Okay, Chris was shaming you publicly on the internet. So
yeah, Chris.
Unacceptable.
He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, no, he is great.
Except that one Pokemon fact, that's about it, really.
Yeah, but on Yellow, you couldn't evolve Pikachu. So
yeah.
Kind of...
he tried and was not very happy about it.
No. Yeah. But I guess if you trade it... Hey.
So where were we?
Origins of where we became nerdy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you've just said about PlayStation 1 and the Game Boy, which I'd probably relate very much to the Game Boy, playing Pokemon with my brothers. Probably one of my biggest influences is probably Dragon Ball Z, hence why I'm wearing the socks.
Yes.
As you do. But it's sort of, me and my brother used to come back home from school, watch it, and I really loved it, and that got me into watching other anime. And as I got older, I've realised it never really went away. I just kept watching it, and like Crunchyroll, for example, you've got those websites where you can actually, you can watch loads of different anime, and it's kind of opened up a world to me. I mean, partly when we've come here as well. We've gone to Tokyo, which I've always wanted to go to, and it was just great to see that kind of nerd culture there.
Yeah, it's almost not nerd culture there. It's just culture.
It
is the norm and
just accepted, which is great.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's come to the West. I mean, I think Dragon Ball Z for young lads like myself, I think, when I was younger, and Pokemon generally has a global appeal. Yeah. So it'd be very hard to find someone who doesn't know what Pokemon is.
Yeah, I like that even like I see young kids wearing like Pokemon t-shirts,
Yeah.
and it's like the original 3 starters, and I love
Yeah,
it.
it's great.
Yeah, 'cause you expect to see them with the newer generations, which I don't
Yeah.
know quite as well. But then you see them with like Charmander,
Yeah.
Bulbasaur, and Squirtle, and it's like, yes.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting because obviously like we've all gone up and gone into grown up jobs. For example, I don't know if you've mentioned what my background is or anything like that, but it's sort of I'm a scientist by trade. I'm a lecturer at the moment, so I've gone through undergraduate, masters, PhD. So I've gone quite a way up in the geeky science world, but I've always kind of kept that love of anime, video games particularly. Like I've played a lot of video games over my life. Skyrim's an example.
Epic game.
A very epic game. Elden Ring is also a great game as well. It's nice to see that it's also encompassing of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like it's not just the guys play video games, it's everybody plays video games, which is great.
Yeah, I like how much that's developed. There's definitely some games that are a bit more female geared. I'd say Animal Crossing. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
My wife's currently obsessed with it. Yep.
Yeah, she's probably playing it right now.
Yep.
If she's not reading.
Yeah.
But I guess I really like that now there's video games and things that are definitely not geared towards kids. So I've been playing Baldur's Gate, which
Yep, definitely not for kids.
definitely not for kids. Like you can turn off the nudity. I have not. But you can. It gives you
Yeah.
that option at the start. But even then, like just the general dialogue, it's very saucy.
Yeah.
Considering it's D&D and about mind flayer parasites, there's a lot of sexiness going down.
Yeah,
and-
I mean, you think of something like The Witcher or Mass Effect is probably the first example of this,
Yes.
where you have this sort of engagement, which is great. It shows that video games are more mature.
yeah,
I'd-
Borderlands. as well.
Borderlands, yeah. I'd say there's this big common misconception in that people assume video games are childish and can't tell complex storytelling. They can't tell a very long running saga. They can't do it like a film would, but it's very different that, you can, Skyrim's at least 100 hours in a game. You tell your own stories.
Yeah.
Something like Mass Effect's 3 games, which are about 50 hours each. So 150 hours playing Mass Effect all the way through. That's a complex story narrative there, which cannot be achieved in a film. There's things you can do in games you can't do in films. So I like the fact that people are starting to accept this a bit more. Yes, some games are a bit more fan servicey. For example, there's quite a few Japanese games I could probably think of. But also, it's not just about that. People get obsessed with the violence, the nudity, and that sort of stuff. They're missing out on the actual complex storytelling,
Yeah.
which is very true.
And you can see it kind of comes full circle sometimes, like with The Last of Us, where it
Yeah.
was a game and they then turned it into a TV show because the storyline was that good.
I mean, it's the TV show, which I can't remember if you've seen it or not yet.
I haven't seen it
Right,
yet.
so I'll try and spoil anything, but
I know the game. I've played the
Yeah.
game. So assuming they stick to that,
quite closely, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the game itself, speaking from when I first played it, and kind of like, I'm sure lots of people have said the same things online. Mass Effect, Last of Us 1 was bold enough to not give you a choice in the story. It is the story, this is what you're told with, and you have to live with the consequences of what happens in it.
yeah.
I mean, I know the game's been out quite a while now, so I'll probably say what the ending is, but just in case, I won't. But adapting that to a TV show is quite difficult, and they did a really, really good job at that. But it all comes from the complex storytelling of video games,
Exactly.
which is the major thing. It's quite interesting that there's a lot of adaptations now, particularly like, say, Fallout, for example, has a fantastic adaptation, but you're still missing out on quite a lot of what Fallout is.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
I guess for me, I like TV shows and stuff, but I probably prefer video games because you become like immersed in the story
Yeah.
as well. Like it's a whole new level where you're actually part of the story. And even if you don't have a choice, it kind of feels like maybe you do, or it feels like, I don't know, it just fully immerses you in the story, which
Yeah, I'd agree
I
with that.
really
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I think it's interesting seeing sort of how complex stories can get.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where you can't see what's happening. There is a flip side to that, where some of them become very cliched. Some of them are really obvious what's going to happen.
or some of them have to have endings that are disappointing because they've made it so complex, mentioning no names, Mass Effect.
Yeah, if you like the cupcakes, blue, red, or green, whatever you want, really. But
Yeah. Definitely didn't undo everything you'd done until that point.
definitely wasn't a waste of my time. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great game.
I wish I'd stopped at like halfway through 3. Like just gone, okay,
Yeah.
this is the real
There's
end.
literally a point where you just stop, and that makes it
Yeah.
a great game. But
Yeah, I love how much that's progressed. And like even with things like anime or cartoons,
yeah.
there's a bit of a grey area in like what's a cartoon and what's an anime. But like I remember as a kid, I used to love this cartoon, Card Captors.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And I then discovered it's actually an anime. It's a very different storyline in Japanese. They cut a lot of stuff to Americanize
Yeah,
it.
that's fair. Yep.
Yeah, but it's almost like it's more socially acceptable to watch an anime than it is to watch a cartoon.
Yeah.
But well, I think we've reached a point now where everyone's kind of like, if you like it, you watch it, and I love that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's interesting, like as you say, you end up watching something which has been dubbed, and there might be a very difference in like Japanese versus English dub, for example. A lot of the dubs now are much better, so they kind of stay more in tune with things. You still miss a
Yeah.
bit of cultural thing. I mean, you can't deny either like cartoons or anime artwork. Like they're beautiful in
Yeah.
a lot of senses. I mean, obviously some are better than others. Some have more realistic style. So mangas will quite include that. So for example, Berserk manga is quite well known in some circles. There's some graphic content in that. You can't deny the artwork of the of the artist.
No.
Like you cannot deny how great that is and how much that has inspired Western culture. So something like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne are all from Berserk because of the art style, because somebody was brave enough to go, yeah, this is what I think would be cool, and put it out there, and we've all benefited from that.
Yeah, and it spawns so many, I suppose, sub things from this one manga. It then creates a whole series of different franchises, like not even just one franchise. It spawns off into so many and creates entertainment for so many people.
I completely agree. It's amazing to think that, and you know, as I've said, like growing up now, it's nice to be able to kind of just be like open about these things, and you know, it be more acceptable. I mean, like for example, you know, I play Yu-Gi-Oh, which is I've got into that because of the TV series when I was younger. Then my brothers ended up playing Yu-Gi-Oh against him. Then I've kind of stopped for a bit because it was the whole, oh, I don't want to be seen as the geek. I don't want to be seen as the strange guy doing Yu-Gi-Oh. And then as I've gotten older, I've gone, okay, well, I did enjoy this. I got back into it and I've loved it. And I still go now. I don't know if I'm very good, but I have a lot of fun doing it. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. I feel like when we were at uni, particularly like some of the circles that I was in, I couldn't really like embrace nerd culture as much as like I used to, because I wasn't really friends with anyone who was into it, and I was young, not overly confident, and you know, just kind of like hid that part of myself. But then I got into kendo circles where everyone's a big nerd.
Yeah, that kind of helps.
Yeah, because everyone, as soon as people love Japanese culture, that generally becomes a part of it as well. And now I'm at a point where, you know, I'm probably the only one in my friend group who is really into like typically nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't really relate when I talk about it, but they don't judge me for talking about it. They just nod and smile like, oh yeah, we know what you're on about.
I wonder how much that is also that you're getting older, and the fact that you know
More
what
confident.
you like and you're more confident in what you think. I mean, it's difficult thinking if I was a kid, would I have the same confidence now? Probably not. If I was growing up now, would I have the same sort of ideas? I don't know. But
I know it makes us feel so old, but like we're now at an age where you've gone through it all, not all, but like you've gone through a lot, and you realize there's no point in not enjoying something that you enjoy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I can't think of any other medium or anything where it gives you so much freedom to do things you enjoy.
Yeah.
Like if you look at anime and manga, for example, keep going about this, but it's sort of look at the cosplay, look at sort of people doing that. I couldn't think of that when I was a kid, and now you're seeing people dress up as a favorite character, and it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and it's all such good artwork. Like I know a few people who do cosplay, and they spend forever on their costumes, and they look so impressive at the end.
It's incredible. I mean, you might have some people judging them. I mean, we all judge at times, I guess, but it's nice to see the majority of people are just like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I like that nerd culture is now big enough that if someone judged someone, they've got a whole backing, they've got a whole group of people behind them that are going to say, actually, no.
I mean, I want to ask you some in terms of, as you've grown up in the same era I have as a woman, obviously. Have you found being a gamer a stranger thing? Do you feel like it's almost like the boys' club, or do you feel like it's more inclusive now?
It's got more inclusive. There's still moments. I don't do a lot of online play, but I know that sometimes if you are playing online and, you know, you're speaking into the mic and people don't expect to hear a female voice, like it's definitely still more men.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's always dickheads, but most people are just like, oh, okay. Like there might be a moment of taken aback surprise, but then they don't comment on it. There's the occasional dickhead, but there always is.
Depends on the game, really, doesn't it? Like...
Yeah, for sure. But no, I've never really, I suppose, felt outcast as a woman is actually sometimes really funny because like, I'm quite good at racing games.
Yeah.
And so when I went and met Grant's nephews for the first time, they wanted to play video games. And so they were there like, okay, these are the buttons. This is how you go. Let us know if you need us to explain. I was like, oh, okay, thanks, guys. I mean, it means so much. And I just destroyed them. You
should put a bet on that, really.
I know, but they were young. Like I probably should have let them win, but I was like, no, I want to make a point about girl gamers.
Also, you just want to win.
Well, yes, there's also that. I get a bit competitive.
Yeah, you still lost him in Mario Kart though, so it's fine.
I know. I've gotten too used to winning, and then you come over. So James and my sister are normally over in the UK. They're over visiting us for a couple of weeks, and we've spent so much time playing video games. And
it's been great.
Yeah, James wins a lot. We played Smash Brothers, and I think Grant's still traumatized.
I mean, he killed himself on it, which is the surprising thing.
I mean, I did too. I was Kirby, and I was just flying around, and I just flew off the map. It was just, bye guys, I'm playing my own game over here.
Yeah, I might get banned at some point, but we'll see.
Maybe. I think as long as we can pick your character, it helps level the playing field.
Yeah, it does a bit.
If you're Link, we all have no chance.
He's not even my best character.
Who's your best?
Pikachu.
Oh, okay. You can't be Pikachu because you're really good with Link. I tried being Link and I was like, how does James do this?
My middle brother used to play as Link all the time, so I used to play as Pikachu to annoy him, and it worked really well.
Who does Matt normally play as?
I don't think he ever got into it, really, my eldest brother. Like, he sort of missed that kind of era.
Missed the Smash boat.
Yeah. Chris was always Link, I was always Pikachu, my friend was always Kirby, and I hated Kirby.
Yeah, I like Kirby.
He's such a pain.
He's such a pain, and he's so weird, but he's hilarious. And like, I needed a character where I could fly, because I was really struggling when I couldn't fly. I was just falling all the time.
Just pick Jigglypuff, it's fine.
Jigglypuff's cute.
Oh, so annoying.
I haven't played as Jigglypuff. Does he actually like sing and it puts people to sleep?
He does.
Okay, I'm going to do that tonight.
Oh, God.
Just jiggle the whole time.
Just going to hear singing all the time and Grant jumping off the level.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to talk about. So I did a bit of looking into the psychology of why we like the things from our childhood.
Okay.
Because you like science. I know you're not a psychology person, but science is science. Thought we'll go into it.
That was a broad statement there, but yeah, science is science.
Science is science.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I mean, aside from the obvious nostalgia factor and like things bringing you back to a time when like in your childhood you feel warm and fuzzy and these things all bring back those memories. I think especially for me, I spent a lot of time playing video games, you know, with Mel or like with my friends, and so like I associate video games with different people. I always associate you and some of our uni friends with Soul Calibur.
Yep.
Which again James constantly destroyed us on.
I mean, I did beat one of our uni friends. Was it 42 times in a row?
Yeah, and he didn't give up.
He didn't give up, and then he was like, "Oh, try your hardest." So I decided to get a double KO, which was hilarious.
That was great. So I was dating that friend at the time, and it was
42 times. I think he should just quit the game.
I know. I don't know if he's ever played it since. He might be traumatized.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah. Because he wanted you to play as your best character as well. Like he wanted to beat you as Yoshimitsu. Yeah. And I can't remember who he chose. I think
he had one character who could do one grab combo, and he learned how to do the one grab combo.
But you could see it coming.
But you can see it coming, so you duck it, and it's hilarious because he just gets really angry. It's really fun.
Yeah. Whereas I was always, I think her name was Tira, but she had the hula hoop.
Oh, the hula hoop one,
so
yeah.
I would just like be hula hooping around. The hula hoop also damages me, so I would most of the time die by self-KO.
I do remember that. It was quite funny.
Yeah, because I didn't realise for a while that the hula hoop damaged, but I was like, whoa, I've learned to hula hoop.
I mean, I swear I told you that, but it was quite funny.
Probably, but I was probably just too excited.
Who was Mel?
Ooh.
Was she Ivy?
She might have been Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting character design, but there you go.
Yes. Very biased in certain areas. But like I love that side of video games, that it can be so social and it can bring people together. And like whenever Grant and I have people over, our house has become kind of the video game house.
Yeah.
Because we have too many.
I mean, just look at your shelf. You've got a fair few things, yeah?
Yeah, so on our shelf, we've got a PS2, a PS5, an Xbox 360, and at the moment, 3 Switches.
Yep.
They're not all ours. Mel and James also brought Switches, so we didn't
It's a long flight.
Yeah, it's been great because we've had so many Joy-Cons now, and
it's been great.
Yeah, we can do all of the games, because normally Grant and I just have the 2, and it's not enough.
Yeah.
But like we have people over and we play video games, you know, usually just light-hearted things like maybe Jackbox.
Yeah.
maybe Mario Kart. When I play against my friends, I become the James of the situation. And because I've spent way too much time playing video games, I'm usually winning. So like if we play Mario Kart, that's why we started doing bullet bills and blue shells.
Which
because
is chaos.
It's absolute chaos. But if there's one person who's way quicker than everyone else, it's such a good level playing field, because if they're in first all the time, it just brings them back until they get a bullet, and then they can just keep going. Like, I mean, James still beat us with bullets and blue shells. But
it was a close call.
It's closer, yeah. And Grant came second, which helped. Like,
yeah, that was a new one.
yeah, helps to level that playing field a little bit. I always associate video games with those kind of feelings and with being social, even though most of the time when I'm playing video games, I'm there with my headphones on by myself.
As you do, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know, like even with TV shows, I know that you and Mel asked me the other day but you asked what was like a go-to comfort show to watch. Yeah. I was doubting myself then, like, well, I haven't seen anyone else. And every show I named, so I named like Pokemon and Card Captors, and I mean, I'd probably throw Digimon in there as well.
That's a good throwback.
Yeah, but it's all stuff that I liked as a kid. Or like I think the other one I mentioned was Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I never actually watched as a kid.
I still can't believe that.
I know, but I always wanted to. Yeah, and it's a perfect series.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great character arcs, great character development.
I watched it through once and then immediately went back and watched it again because I just wanted to live it again.
Have you watched Korra?
Not yet. No.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. Not quite the level of perfection.
Yeah.
But
good
still
idea.
Good. Yeah. I like that they didn't just stop as well, because like with the ending of Avatar, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but with the ending, it doesn't leave much room for a follow-on series. It's just like,
I mean, it doesn't really. I mean, there are like extended universe comics, for example. So there's sort of like about Zuko finding his mother or trying to find his mother. Again, it's one of those things where you watch a TV show, you go, oh, this is amazing. And then you go, oh yeah, there's extra stuff you can read about it. And then you get into the manga side of things or the comic book side of things, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
Mainstream one, for example, would be Star Wars. Like before Disney took Star Wars, there was a massive extended universe of Star Wars, like loads of different storylines. Yet we don't really talk about that because it would be seen as in the West maybe more geeky, but it's become more okay to be that way, which is great.
Yeah, because those movies are huge. They've got to be some of the biggest of all time.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, just think of how many people have watched the original trilogy, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife's not including in that, but like, you know, at least some people have watched it.
And you still married her.
Yeah, I tried. She can probably hear me and probably going to kill me in a second. So
yeah, she's just keeping a little tally of shit to bring up later.
But yeah, what you were saying about the nostalgia of the different game stuff, it's quite interesting. Say, depends how scientific you want me to get and that sort of thing.
Go for it. You're the science here.
I'm not an expert, but I'll try my best. So a lot of it comes down to just like dopamine. You remember the good feelings. You remember this sort of release. You remember the good times. So you associate video games with that. Something like Elden Ring, it's the challenge. It's the physiological, like, I need to do this. I need to win. And then you get angry and you want to throw your controller. But then when you eventually do it and win,
it feels so good.
It's a great feeling because you've accomplished it. You've worked hard. You've worked hours trying to beat a boss. The worst boss I can think of is in Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, which is a PlayStation game, sponsoring Sony here. It relies on guards, it relies on blocking, it relies on parry, so very much Kendo-esque in that sense. It's very much like attack.
And you can't just hack and slash, you have to...
I don't know how many days it took me to beat the final boss of that game, but when I did it, I was literally running around the house like going, oh my god, I beat him.
Yeah.
That feeling, big dopamine hit, the accomplishment, that sort of, I've done it. I mean, with all, like real day life, for example, think about when you went to university and you've worked really hard in doing your dissertation, you finally finish. That release is nothing else. You're like, oh my God, I've worked so hard and this is where I've got to.
Once I caught up on my sleep, it felt great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I passed out immediately though, because I stayed up the entire night before because I'm a last minute person.
Yeah, you're that one, yeah.
Yeah.
You should do a PhD, you'd love it.
Oh, it was chaos. Like I finished it at like 4 a.m. My printer wasn't working. So I went to the university printer. That wasn't working. And then, because everyone else was printing their dissertations as well, they were all due on the same
panic,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, so I went to my friend's house and I was like, please, I need to print it. And he's like, oh, I've run out of ink. I was like, oh, I'll buy ink. I'm going to. So at like 8 a.m, I was out buying ink to go to my friend's printer to hand in my dissertation by 9 a.m. I don't think I've ever been so panicked in my life.
That's quite scary.
Yeah, because you have to get it bound as well. Like I had to get mine bound. And so you had to allocate time to do that. I don't know why I do it to myself.
It's crazy, Sam.
I want to be a person who is more like I should have pretended that the deadline was a week before and like convinced my brain of that, and then I would have had that buffer. But instead I didn't lie to my brain, and I should have.
No, we've all been there. But yeah, I think kind of thinking about that, like, you know, you have that dopamine rush. For example, surgeons, from what I understand, they've been told to use video games in some respects because the hand-eye coordination of moving the joysticks while not thinking. That's quite a lot of dexterity. Thinking of something like Baldur's Gate, it's a very complex story narrative, so you're using your brain to constantly figure out how you're going to progress. So it's almost like reading a book, but you're involved in this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of facets of the gaming, which comes into enjoyment and comes into giving you skills, giving you that kind of creative flair. There's a lot of thing in teaching, particularly, which just I've said that my wife's walked out the door.
Teaching.
Basically, there's something called gamification, where you're trying to use gaming techniques like reward, a task and reward. And the idea by doing that is you increase your level of learning. So by getting you more invested in something because it's fun, which is the bottom line of video games, it's fun.
Yeah.
You do that, you learn more.
Yeah, for sure. And then things like PlayStations and Xboxes have built in these achievements and trophies, which get so addictive.
They really do, yeah. I mean, like, you've gone for Lego Platinums, haven't you, most of the time?
I've platinumed the Legos. I've platinum Ratchet and Clank. I've platinum Spyro. I probably see myself as a bit of a completionist. It definitely sucks the fun out of the game sometimes, but then once you reach a certain point, you're just like, I've got to do that last little bit. Mel mentioned on an episode that I did with her about high school, about how much like your brain's developing in like your younger years, and how you soak up everything like a sponge and it shapes the person that you are and all of these things. So by that logic, if you grow up watching cartoons, anime, playing video games, all of these things, they become part of your personality.
Yes, I'd agree with that completely. I mean,
it makes sense that we don't just drop them when we're older, because they are literally part of us. They are part of our brain chemistry.
I mean, bottom line, why would you give something up which you enjoy? I mean, there are issues. For example, violent video games is a whole thing of linking back into violence for people. I don't actually agree with that. I think there's a lot of border studies showing against that. I think the major thing is, though, that as long as it's not becoming an issue like video game addiction, or it's not somebody doing stuff, it's a great thing. So, for example, when I've had bad days, I get back from work, I'm tired, my mates are on Fortnite or playing Rocket League, and you go on there, have a good laugh. Yeah, we're not the best, we have a good laugh, and it's sort of, that's the major thing. It's a form that people enjoy. It's an outlet people love.
Yeah, and I think as long as you and your circle are looking out for each other and like maybe calling someone out if they do get addicted, because I have heard of people getting addicted to things like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's quite a real thing.
Yeah, and you know, that would obviously be a problem and it can start taking over parts of your life. But I think anything can be addicted. Like I've got addicted to exercise in the past, and no one sees that as a bad thing because it's exercise, it's good for you. But I injured myself and I was doing nothing else, and I was very annoying. Like, I mean, all the time.
It's one of those things, again, I don't want to go too sciencey on this, but it's sort of too much of anything's bad for you. So if you are constantly exercising, great, you build muscle, you get activity, you get a release. However, if you're not eating right, it can affect your muscle growth, it can affect your bone density, it can affect your joints, it can affect many things.
Yeah.
If you eat well, you eat too much, obviously that leads to the other side where you get overweight, obesity. But then it's having that balance. The perfect way is just to be in the middle. And I think video games is very much like that. So, for example, I'm not gonna lie. When I got Skyrim for the first time back when I can't remember when it was released. When it was first released on PS3 or 4, I can't remember which one it was now.
I think it was 3. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, I spent a lot of a day probably playing that because it was, oh my god, new Elder Scrolls. This is amazing. Played it ages. I was at uni, so it was fine. I did have a full-time job at the time, but it's okay. I mean, there's still that part of it. Like, you get a game, you want to play as much as possible, and I've done it. As you get older, it's harder to do. You feel worse. But I think in moderation, it's much better.
Yeah, and I think it helps me to find a balance. Like, I find it really hard to switch off after work, and like especially because I do the podcast as well. So sometimes like I'll finish work and then I'm like, okay, I need to write an episode outline. I need to create a thumbnail. I need to do some editing, and I won't give myself that time to just switch off.
Yeah.
And playing a video game can like kind of force that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Grant's really good at telling me that I need to switch off, but I also can be a bit of a multitasker. So playing a video game is something where it doesn't give me that. I can't be like playing that and also trying to do some side work.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to
it gives you that one focus point that you are in the game, you're doing this. I mean, you try playing a game such as like Elden Ring where you've trying to do something else, you can't do it because you're trying to concentrate on being a dragon and then you need to go and do something else and you're dead.
You'll die straight away. Yeah.
It's happened multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you just kind of learn how to adapt and get better with.
Well, we'll move on to the last part of this because I think we've done a pretty good dive into the psychology.
Quite a lot, yep.
yeah, lots of side tangents, but I like that.
Yeah.
So, because we are, as a whole, looking at unpopular opinions, I thought we would do a bit of an opinion-based section at the end of this.
Okay, right, sounds good.
So, you know, because we've clarified that liking childlike things is awesome and not at all anything that anyone should be judged for.
I mean, it can shape you into who you are. I mean, I loved Watch Dragon Ball Z and Goku. Goku was an awesome character, and I was like, got to get fit, got to work hard. So it's sort of characters like that can help you become who you are.
Exactly. So I don't really see any downside. So I thought instead we'll take some opinion-based things within that and we'll debate. So
I've not read these. This will be interesting.
Who is your starter Pokemon?
So which generation are we talking here?
We're going to go first gen.
So, okay.
We're of that age.
Yeah, we are of that age. So are we talking red and blue?
We'll include Pikachu in it. So you can have Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur or Pikachu.
I mean, my go-to would be Charmander. I'd love to have Pikachu, but Charmander turns into Charizard, which, you know, it's a fire dragon. It's cool. Like,
Grant takes the same logic. Grant loves Charmander.
He's the best.
I'm still a Pikachu. I think a bit of that's the nostalgia.
Yeah.
But also, so I watched a video the other day by Game Theory, and they were talking about how electric Pokemon are actually completely worthless and powerless.
Yeah.
And I like to root for the underdog, so that's made me like electric Pokemon even more.
That's fair,
so
yeah.
Now I'm like, yes, 100% Pikachu. Yeah. That's my guy.
Yeah. My brother always picked Squirtle, so that was always the downside. Yeah.
See, if I had to pick from like the red and blue lot, I would pick Bulbasaur, but again, I'm probably going underdog.
Yeah, I mean, of all the grass types in any of the games, probably the best one.
He is, and also like I love him in the anime. Like he's got such attitude. He's great.
See the big tie in there. Anime leads to the games, can lead you to something else.
Exactly. Right. Whereas like Charmander in the anime, less cool. Becomes a bit of a dick. Has a great redemption arc as Charizard.
But he's basically a moody teenager.
He is.
Like when I was watching it as a moody teenager myself, made sense.
Yeah. Charmeleon, classic moody
teenager.
teenager.
Arlo, no.
So, in the Avatar universe, not the blue universe, but the good one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good, but the better one.
Pretty sure the new film has fire, like red Avatar people in it.
I thought it was the underwater one.
There's a third film coming out. I'm fairly certain I saw a trailer a while ago with red ones.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
No idea.
I'm going to Google that.
Yeah, have a look.
So, who would you be? Like, would you be some kind of element bender? And if you were, what kind would you be?
I mean, can I take the cop-out answer and just say be the Avatar? Because that'd be awesome.
Assuming you can't be the Avatar.
I mean, that was the cop-out answer.
That's a great answer, though. I didn't even think of that.
Really?
Yeah, not even slightly.
That's the first thing I'd think of. It's like, have all four elements. You've not seen Korra, so you don't know some of the other things. So
I've read things, though. So I know about some of the...
unique bending.
Yeah.
So which ones do you know?
So I know about metal bending. I know about soul bending. There's like lightning bending or thunder bending, whatever they call it.
There's lava bending as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was quite cool.
That's got to be like some kind of ground and fire
I think it's
combo.
Like earth bending again. So earth bending is a lot of extra things in like in Korra. It's a difficult one because like fire's just really cool dancing around, but then like the water bending's got the healing stuff. So
true.
I think it's a hard choice, Sam, because like you can fly as an airbender. Like, basically all of them apart from Earth is what I'm picking at the moment. But then Earth's also as well. I think I'd probably go waterbending because it's like quite flexible. You can do a lot of stuff with it.
Yeah.
You can also, if you're really evil, do bloodbending, which is like if you want to go super villain, you got that sorted.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool. How about you?
I went earthbending.
Is that just because of Toph?
Largely because of Toph.
Yeah.
Toph is the best.
She is awesome.
But also, so I went through them one by one, and I was like, I'm too much of a wimp for firebending. Like, I'm not hot-headed enough. I could not pull it off. I'd just be like, ooh. Light some candles. Like, that would be the extent of my firebending.
You could be wise like Iroh, though. That'd be cool.
I could be like Iroh. Iroh's great.
I mean, you'd always have to be a bold old man, but like you can't quite pull that off.
Well, not yet. Give me a few
I'm
years.
losing my hair, so we're fine. So
You can be Iroh. Then waterbending. I mean, we went in the ocean yesterday, and I was the biggest wimp.
that is true.
So-
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this last night, and I was like, I'm probably not waterbending.
I mean, you so much love the water. Like,
Yes.
I was in the sea for ages. It's great.
I kind of, in my mind, had you as waterbending. And then airbending. Airbending would probably be my second choice. But also, again, comes back to me being a big wimp. Like, I like having my feet on the ground.
So you'd literally be like earth, air,
Water, fire.
water, fire.
Yeah.
I'd be water, fire, air, earth.
Okay. Next big debate.
Go for it.
And I already know your answer.
Go for it.
Harry Potter house.
I think you're biased already because you're obviously the worst house.
Excuse me. I am the only good house.
Right. This is the debate on this, though. When Harry's name is in the Goblet of Fire and Dumbledore asks him calmly, as we all know in the film,
Oh, yeah,
clearly
calmly.
very, very calmly.
Did you put your name in Goblet of Fire?
Exactly. Like, none of the Hufflepuffs want to hear Harry's side of it. They all immediately jump on the bandwagon and go against him, even though they're supposed to be the nice house.
Yes, that is Hufflepuff's downfall arc.
I mean, I get the point that they want to support their
I think that
hero.
it was more like, in my mind, you never know how that story was told to them. Harry is a bit of a, I almost say glory hunter, but he's an unintentional glory hunter. Like, he decides he's got to go down the trapdoor. He's got to go into the Chamber of Secrets. No one knows all the shit he got up into in the third book because it's all super secret. But, like,
Yeah, obviously.
I think that the Hufflepuffs were just like, oh, we finally get some
Oh, I agree with
good karma, and Harry has to come and ruin it by being Harry.
that. No, I completely agree with that fact that they...
It is definitely a rough time for Hufflepuff. I think that's where I think the spin on it is like them being so loyal that they go on the attack.
But then aren't Hufflepuff supposed to be
Kind.
everybody else? They're happy, they're accepting of everybody.
They should be.
So-
And I think that emotion and house loyalty overtook in that particular spot. I have also read that in the Battle of Hogwarts, the only house that stayed behind entirely other than Gryffindor was Hufflepuff. Like,
That's
some
fair.
Ravenclaws left, most of Slytherin left, but all of the Hufflepuffs and all of the Gryffindors stayed.
Yeah, I mean, I also think Cedric could have done a little bit more to help out. I think he does later on after Harry helps him, but it's very much like left Harry to his own devices. I mean, the
Yeah,
dude's a
early on,
teenager.
until the where Harry helps him out with the dragons, then Cedric's like, "Oh, you're not a dick. Okay, shit, I should stop slagging you off to all
Yeah,
of
that's
my
fair.
fellow badgers."
That's fair. I mean, I'm Gryffindor, obviously. Harry's not... He may start off as a reluctant hero in some respects, like he's kind of thrown into scenarios.
Yes.
But then by the end of it, he kind of goes, yeah, I've got to do this, which makes sense. And also, Gryffindors just go in and do what they need to do. It's not always the best idea. They're brave. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
bravery's not stupid.
But it all comes from a sense of good morality.
Yeah, I mean, like him running off to go and trying to help, spoilers, trying to help Sirius, for example. If he thought about it for like 10 seconds, he'd probably been fine.
Yeah,
But
Gryffindors don't think.
Gryffindors have the act, which is not the best idea, admittedly, but like,
Yeah, I'd say you're probably bordering on like a Griffin claw, like,
yeah.
because you do think about stuff. But also, I think if you were thrown into a scenario where it's like someone was in trouble, you would jump in and go and help,
Yeah.
potentially before thinking it all the way through.
I mean, there's times where you have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an educated guy, I guess. Like, I've got a PhD, got my doctorate, that sort of stuff. But there are times where you can't just sit around and think about what you have to do. You just have to act.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out well, but sometimes it does.
Sometimes I think intentions are what matter the most, which
I
I guess
agree.
is where like I identify with Hufflepuffs because I think on the whole, like, you're trying to be kind, you're trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not that always works, it's the intention behind it, and I think that shows your personality more than
I'd agree with that.
the end result sometimes. Yeah. My last one, which is a bit of a weird one, so I'll try and explain it. If Super Smash Brothers was real life, and you're not controlling these characters, they all have their own consciousness.
Right.
Who would win?
All on the same stage, same time.
Big battle royale, everyone fighting everyone.
Ooh, do we have power-ups, or is it just them?
Just them.
I mean, if it's real-world physics, the guys with the sword would probably kill most of them because they stab and you're dead.
Yeah.
I feel Mewtwo would be up there somewhere because, like, he's psychic, he can fly around.
Yeah.
I mean, Link would maybe up there because he's a master swordsman, if you should be right. Any of the Fire Emblems characters could be on there as well. Yeah, I'd probably say something like Mewtwo would be the winner there because they can control minds, they can confuse their opponents and just knock them off the stage.
Yeah, I came to the same conclusion, kind of. So I put wishful thinking says Kirby because I think that's hilarious and because he can thwomp, which is just the best.
For those who don't know, it means turn into a rock from a distance above you.
Well, thwomp is it's the rock from Mario. But like, so when I fought against James, I discovered how to thwomp and just did that non-stop. Like, that was my one move. I was just thwomp.
I mean, it made you very easy target when you appeared from the rock. I just hit you with Link's sword.
Yes. Well, okay. For a while, I thought I was immune as the rock. Yeah. I thought I couldn't be damaged, so I was just there being a rock.
Yeah.
Quickly learned that wasn't the case. But so that's my wishful thinking answer. But then my real answer was Mewtwo.
I mean, there's probably characters I think about. Like, for example, Corin can turn into a dragon, which means quite powerful.
Yeah.
Sonic, you have to try and catch him.
Yeah.
Snake, he can plant C4 and blow people up quite easily. A lot of people could win this.
Yeah, a lot of power. All kind of different angles, but...
I mean, I love the fact I'm avoiding many of the other ones, like, for example, Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Like a literal fighter.
I wonder... Actually, no, I think I did. I think I plugged this into ChatGPT to see what it would say, but I can't remember what it said.
I mean, write down in the comments who you think would win, because I have no idea.
Okay, I did plug it into ChatGPT. I don't know...
Is it in a story?
It wrote way too much. But basically, it put it down to 4 characters. Kirby.
Right.
Because he's very versatile. He can inhale enemies and adopt their powers. So you kind of have all the powers there.
Give me that.
Bayonetta, who I don't think I know.
Quite a big thing in Nintendo. So she's a witch who can freeze time at times.
Okay. I'd probably know if I saw her.
She uses her hair for spells. There's a whole big thing about her.
Okay. I think I can picture her, but I don't recognize the name. But yeah, time manipulation and demonic summoning.
Yep, that would help.
Yeah, sounds very helpful. Mewtwo, psychic abilities, just nuking everyone. Mm-hmm. And Link was its fourth.
Oh, interesting. I mean, he's a master swordsman. I mean, if you played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, like, he is a masterful swordsman.
Yeah, so basically ChatGPT copped out and gave us 4 answers, but...
That's a good 4 answers.
I think it's a good 4. I don't know how much I agree with Kirby. That was very much just wishful thinking on my part.
I mean...
But the absorbing powers does help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised Captain Falcon's not on there. Like, he's not the best character.
Yeah.
Because all my memories of Captain Falcon are is one of our friends used to play as him, and all you could hear was Falcon Punch every 5 seconds. Because he didn't know how to play the game. It says, Falcon Punch, Falcon Kick. Then he fell off the level and died.
Bit like me with Thwomp.
Yeah,
I definitely thwomped off the level.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I've got for you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, Sam. I mean, like, it's been pretty cool. I hope people can understand me, and I hope it's not too bad. Like...
Oh, trust me, that if they can understand Grant and some of the other Aussies, like, they can definitely understand you.
Awesome, yeah.
But yeah, it's been great to chat nerd culture. Yeah. I don't get to do it very often because none of my friends are in it.
I mean, when this is over, we'll still be chatting nerd culture after this.
Oh, 100%.
Because I need now to tell you about Bayonetta, which you didn't know. So I've not even played the games. I know who she is.
Yes.
No. Do you remember Devil May Cry?
Yes.
Dante?
Yeah.
Basically female version of her.
Okay.
Of him, even.
Okay. No, that would be powerful.
That's the best way to kind of go over it.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder how I've missed this space of...
Yeah, really... I'm also surprised by this.
I am bad with names, though, so it's possible that you go, oh, yeah, her, and...
I mean, like, you know who Samus is?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I feel like Samus was further down the list on this, but...
I still probably gave you an answer.
I know. Oh, I love ChatGPT. ChatGPT does half my job. I'm kidding. For my employers, I am definitely joking about this.
I could agree. She works really hard. I've seen her work.
But anyway, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
no worries.
joining me. I hope we can record again soon. I'll
Yeah,
think of some
hopefully.
more nerdy topics for us to cover.
I mean, we definitely will be UK and Australia that time, but like,
Yeah, we'll be remote recording, but it was fun to be able to do it in person.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
And thanks to anyone who joined us. Let us know any of your super nerdy things in the comments. And yeah, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Cool. Bye, guys.
Bye.